Hello, BraX. How are you? I have my drink. This is actually a horrible drink from Snapple. It is lemonade watermelon. I don't know if you know this, but most people that try to do a watermelon drink, it is very difficult to replicate and mass produce for the masses. So that it usually comes out tasting sour and not sweet as it should. Or it'll taste very, very synthetic and it's just not the best thing. But unfortunately, I do things that are odd, and because I do things that are odd, well, I bought too many of them without even tasting it. So I'm stuck with those pink drinks. Yay. I'm very happy. I'm just thrilled about this experience. This is like my pandemic drink right now. I'll have to deal with that later. But in front of me are notebooks. Notebooks are extremely important. Now, this is a close and personal video here, so I don't have a lot of room to go high and low or anything like that like I did before, because this is where you're going to start doing stuff. Remember I said in the previous video that I want you to get a notebook. Well, why should you go out and get a notebook if you have never seen any of my notebooks? These are a collection of notebooks that I own. Some of these notebooks I've had since before 1999. And I believe the notebook that I accidentally said my sister's handprint was on there, that was actually only my handprint. So that is a book that I purchased either at 1999, the year 1999, or before 1999. Not 100% sure, but it's around that time because the red handprint was something that I used to put on my car, and it's something that I put on at least two of my notebooks. But I will be showing you the notebook that my sister actually used, her hand, and also apparently my hand is on that too. You'll see it. It's the cutest thing on the planet. It really is. So, I also said I was going to give you an assignment. I'm going to tell you your assignment twice. The very first time is going to be right here, right now. That assignment is, I want you to draw a bird. Not just any bird. I want you to draw whatever kind of bird that you want to draw. Bird, B-I-R-D. It can be a flying bird. It can be a standing bird. It can be any kind of bird you want. Why are you going to be drawing a bird? Well, I don't want you to just draw one bird. I want you to draw 25 birds. The reason I want you to do this is because in one of my classes, I was being trained to do some hardcore graphic stuff, and I want to be like a graphic designer and everything. And I was literally told, before you draw or create in Illustrator, that's an application from Adobe, we'll talk about that way down the road. Before you could draw something in Illustrator, my professor wanted to see 100 thumbnails. Now, what is a thumbnail? A thumbnail is a drawing about the size of your thumb. Now, I can't tell you to draw something the size of your thumb because your thumb is absolutely smaller than my thumb. So what I'm going to tell you to do is draw something that's, I need something, a reference for size. What can I use? I don't want you to draw something as small as a thumbnail. We're not there yet. And you're young. I don't want you to start drawing dimensions and all the other stuff. I don't want you to draw something 2 inches by 2 inches and then draw it 50 times. I think that's a little bit too much to ask. So, in my hands with an S, are iPods. Notice that the iPods are about the size of the palm of my hand. Your hand may be a little bit smaller than mine, but still, these will still fit probably in the palm of your hand. So what I want you to do is draw 25 drawings of a bird that's about the size of your hand. Now, I don't need these anymore, so I'm just going to throw them over there, out of the way. Don't worry, they actually fell on something nice and soft. I like to throw stuff because I consider throwing stuff to be fun. I don't do it in anger. I do it for fun. So, notebooks. I want you to get a notebook. Remember I said, in the other video, the very first video, the intro to BraX, Project BraX. And again, welcome to Project BraX. What I want you to buy is a spiral notebook with hopefully a black cover, but definitely a spiral back. The reason I want you to buy one with a spiral back is because something with a spiral back will last a very, very, very long time. And remember I was saying, hey, I want you to draw something about the size or about the palm of your hand. If you take a look at this, these drawings are about the palm of your hand size. They're just nice size drawings. That's what I want from you. I want you to draw
25
birds. That's your assignment for the next week or so, or until you finish those birds. I don't know what kind of time limit I should establish on you, because I know you're not in school right now because school is out, but I'm still gonna be a little lenient.
25
when you can, and I know you have the time. So this is one of the notebooks. I also have an extremely fancy notebook with a gold trim. I have two of them actually. They're both leather. I mean, these are really nice. My Bible is not this good, okay? This is nice, thick leather on both of these guys. I got my name in there. I mean, this is just absolutely beautiful. Oh, look at that. That is amazing. I drew that. Apparently, I drew that in 2004. Why do you need a notebook? Some people use notebooks to put journals. Oh, there's another drawing. Apparently, I got the coffee that I like in there. Brave, good. Java 1.4, Pixel Shocks, old. Oh, I was trying to get into 3D. Okay, I get it. I got a couple things in here. So what I want you to do is, I want you to have that notebook. I want you to draw in that notebook. You can write it in a notebook if you want to. It doesn't matter what you do. Put content in that notebook. I would prefer that when you put stuff in your notebook, you use every single page. In other words, before you go to the next page, don't skip around. Me personally, I'm a horrible person when it comes to art sometimes. And what I do is I skip around. So in this notebook here, you will see if I bounce around, I'm going to have some blank pages. Look at that. Blank pages. Blank pages. Got something in here. There we go. Oh. Look at that. Didn't even hit either one of those. Instead, what I did was, there we go. I drew something on this page, but not on the page behind it. It's got kind of messy because I was using markers at the time. Markers can be very, very messy. This entire video is going to be about the notebooks. Why are notebooks important? Notebooks are important, again, because you can put a lot of stuff in it. This is a larger notebook here. I know there's a ruler inside of this notebook, so there must be a drawing in here somewhere. Oh, something that was never completed. I have a lot of incompleted stuff. It's a bad habit of mine. Again, blank pages where there should be drawings. Oh, that's a nice goofy drawing, 2006, like a robot. And like I said before, there is a ruler in here, so I can draw straight lines, straight edges. Just a moment ago, I was literally talking about my handprint and my sister's handprint. This is the other one that I showed you. These are similar notebooks, but notice that these notebooks here, they don't have the spiral. I want you to have the spiral because what you can do with the spiral notebook is you can get it, you can flip it upside down, and you can draw any kind of way you want. You can always have a nice flat edge. Flat edges are very important. It's nice and easy to draw with, whereas the other one here, this has a spine that will crack over time. And listen, you can even hear it when I open it up. Hear that? Every single time I open it up, a little bit of it breaks. So this is a good notebook, but it could be better if it was spiral. And at some point, I realized that I prefer spiral notebooks as opposed to spined notebooks. So, spiral, spine. I'm giving you vocabulary right now. These are the different type of notebooks that are out there. You can get these here for probably like $10 or maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit cheaper. It all depends on who the company is and also the kind of paper. A good notebook like the one you see here is going to have nice, thick paper. Listen to this paper as I rip it. This is probably 24 or more pound paper. 24 pound or higher. This is another notebook here. This is that's a really good drawing there. And this is perfect. This is perfect. Oh my God, this is absolutely perfect. You wouldn't believe this here. I literally just found this. Remember I told you, my teacher told me I needed to do 100 drawings. 100 drawings. In class, we were told you need to come up with 10 drawings right now in class. We did. And from that point on, he wanted us to draw one more, starting at 10, and draw the other 90. I'm not the greatest at math, but here is one of those drawings. One of those thumbnails. Here's the next thumbnail. Even though it's bigger, you don't really have to refer to it as being, a big nail. You can still call it a thumbnail. Here's the 30s. I don't know if you can actually see what I'm drawing here, but there's something with feet and fish. Here's the 40s. Just getting to the 40s now. And now we get into the 50s. And this should have continued all the way up to 100. So that means every one of these here, I've got to turn around and actually take a picture of it and post it in this YouTube video here. What I'm going to do is the detailed photos, I'm going to put all these guys at the very end. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to throw them all at the very end. You'll see what goes down. Oh my, this is a good one. Oh, this is so good. This is actually good. At the end of this project, the teacher told us, get the best drawing that you have. And notice that every one of those drawings was in black and white, not in color. We were not allowed to use color just yet. I want you to get one of those black and white drawings that you did, one of those thumbnails, and turn it into a full-fledged drawing in Adobe Illustrator. That's what we had to do. I will show you these drawings, and at the very end, I will also show you what my final output was. Now, don't be disappointed by what I say next. My professor, my teacher, loved my thumbnails. And in his opinion, I picked the wrong drawing to do the final drawing with. In his mind, some of my thumbnails were better than the final drawing that I did. That happens in art sometimes. Sometimes when you clean everything up, it doesn't look as good. But sometimes your rough stuff looks really, really good in its rough state. And sometimes that's the best way it can be. Let it stay rough. Art is very subjective. It can be whatever you want it to be. But again, you're doing my stuff, my video, and therefore I'm going to do this my way. So, another reason for talking about paper, and I'm not done with the paper yet. You just heard something that was 24 pounds or higher. Listen to this here. I don't know if it makes a difference, but you may be able to hear it. This is cheap paper from a spiral notebook, a plain old spiral lined notebook from 5 Star. This is cheap paper. Now the way paper is made in this huge bundle. This huge bundle has a weight, 20 pounds, 24 pounds, 67 pounds, 110 pounds. It can go higher, it can go lower. But the higher the number, the heavier the paper is, and the stronger the paper is. Sometimes the paper can be smooth, sometimes the paper can be rough. You can pick whatever you want. Right now, you don't have any choices of paper. We can talk about paper later on, but right now, you just grab whatever kind of paper you want and draw on with it. Doesn't really matter to me. But I want you to have a notebook. The reason you need a notebook is because 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, you can open up one of these notebooks and you can see what you wrote in that notebook or see what you drew in that notebook. And those memories will come back to you. Right now, I'm talking about Psychology 101. I know you're too young for this here, but one thing that you will learn is when you go to college, everyone gets a psychology class, at least one. And there's a description of a person, a guy who bites into a cookie. And when he bites into that cookie, he is reminded of his childhood memories. These notebooks that I'm showing you now, as I open them up, I don't know if you saw my face when I saw those thumbnails, but I was instantly brought back to being in Atlanta between 1999 and 2001. I was instantly brought back there, and I can remember riding the MARTA bus. I remember going to school and all the other stuff. It all just came back to me. What does this have to do with art? This is one of those things I was telling you. Art can be used in very different ways. It can be used to catalog stuff. It can be used to journal things. It can be used to bring back old memories. Some drawings make people happy. Some drawings make people sad. Some drawings are just commercially drawn to invoke an emotional response from people. The three strongest colors in art, and this is something that's very important. The three strongest colors is red, white, and black. These are the three strongest colors that we know that we use on this planet. Pink is a strong color. Yeah, but you know what? Those other three colors can be spotted from a distance. Those other three colors draw your eyes to it. These are things that I want you to pick up. I'm giving you artistic ways of talking. I'm still not done with the paper yet, but I will be done very soon. Right now, I'm holding parchment paper or tracing paper. This is drawing paper that is extremely thin. It is extremely thin. It is so thin that you can actually see through it. You should be able to see my hand right there. The beautiful part about tracing paper is you can get a drawing. This is very loud, by the way. You can get a drawing like this. Turn around, have another sheet of tracing paper on top, trace that drawing to make that drawing all over again, either as it is, or you can make improvements on it. Why is that important? Why am I having you draw
25.
lines? Practice, practice, practice. Kim Jong-ji is a Korean artist. I'm going to try to show you a couple things of his artwork. A lot of people have studied how he draws. And the way he draws, and a lot of the best artists out there, what they have done over time is they have developed a muscle memory. Like a person who works out on their arms all the time, their body has a muscle memory. In other words, if they stop lifting weights and doing all the acrobatic stuff or whatever they do, if they stop doing that, and then maybe a year or two later, if they want to get up and try to get back into a routine of working out or doing gymnastics or whatever, their body will remember the weights that they were lifting. The body will remember, I used to have more muscles over here. I'm going to build those muscles up again. Your brain is the exact same way. Your brain is a muscle. The incredible thing about your brain is if you draw the same item over and over again, you will basically be able to draw it faster the next time and draw it better the next time. Faster, better, faster, better. And before you know it, you could become an expert in drawing birds. But that's not what the entire project is about. I want you to draw 50 birds because A, you will notice after you draw 50 birds, I don't care whether you draw a bird that is the exact same thing 50 times or, like my thumbnails, 50 different birds. At the end of the 50, you will see slight changes. Maybe you will see yourself getting a little better at drawing that bird because you drew it 50 times. Or maybe you'll draw a different bird. I don't mind you drawing a different bird. But the thing is, it's developing a muscle memory to draw something. Now, when it comes to memory, Kim Jong-gi, he was not the best student in class. His parents realized that he was never going to be a successful business person. So what they did was, and your parents are not going to do this here, what his parents did was they realized the kid likes to draw, let him be an artist, and that's what he did. Because he started drawing at a very, very young age, and he got better at it, he got so good at it that his muscle memory for objects like airplanes, military equipment, and just people in general, just drawing the human body, it flows through him, and it's as easy to draw the human figure as it is for you to write your name. I have a habit of drawing multiple heads in profile. In other words, I can draw 100 circles and come up with 100 different faces because each circle may be a different shape. It may be a long face, maybe a wide face, maybe a square face. You never know. But I have the ability to basically go in there and draw 100 of those faces in no time if I wanted to, because I enjoy drawing the cartoon-like face. It's one of those things that I do. I do it out of habit. So this is tracing paper. Tracing paper is nice. I'm not telling you to get tracing paper. We'll talk about getting other kind of papers and everything later. But for now, the only thing that you need to do, get your hands on a notebook. What are you going to draw with? You can draw with any freaking thing you want. You can grab some pencils that are already in the house. I'm pretty sure your mom and dad have some. You can grab Crayola crayons. Some of my drawing pencils are Crayola crayons. There are other things that are out there. There's Prismacolor. Prismacolor costs a little bit of money. I don't want you to buy those right now. I want you to use the cheap stuff. Cheap stuff is good enough. When it comes to an ink pen, I do want you to experiment with drawing with an ink pen. This is a very different experience because there's a little ball point on the top of this here. This is a inexpensive BIC, B-I-C, crystal 1.6 millimeter pen. The great part about this is when I write, it's extremely smooth. Some of these will spit out so much ink, it'll leave a little bit of residue. I don't know if you can see that, but this actually smears very easily, which means you can use this to draw something and then put a shadow or a little gradation onto it. A gradation is where you have a thick line that smears into, excuse me. I do apologize. Unfortunately, I had to work today, and because of the pandemic thing that we're going through, I've been talking literally all day long. So I get a little dry sometimes. So that's another reason why I always have a drink with me. Snapple. So, sorry about that. A gradation is a line that is put down and it slowly turns or fades into nothingness. So it'll go from jet black to gray to light gray to almost not visible gray to nothingness. In other words, it's a gradation of color. 100%, 90%, 80%, 70%, 20%, and so forth, all the way down. So I hope that makes sense. I am throwing artistic terms at you quite rapidly. If you don't understand what I'm saying, Google it. Have your parents Google it. We can figure this out together. Like, remember, that's what they're there for. They're there to help you through all kinds of situations. And if you want to, gradation is a word you might want to look up. I'm not going to show the description up here. I'm not going to give you a glossary this time. But I'm definitely going to throw some words at you. Good words that you need to know. So, is there anything? Oh, other medium. I'm showing you an ink pen here. This is cheap. You can probably buy this here, a pack of them at the store for $2, $3. Depends on whether there's a sale or not. Other things that you can use. I don't want you to buy this here. This is paint. This is, what kind of paint is this here? Is it a gouache? This is a color matched paint. Ooh, that stinks. It's very oily. This is oil painting. This was an accident. I ordered from Blick, B-L-I-C-K, Blick, I think that's the name of it. Yeah, I ordered from Blick a German pencil sharpener. So I ordered, this is a cute story here. I ordered a German pencil sharpener. I'm going to show it to you over here. Over there. And I ordered 3 of them. I wanted 2 of them for myself, and I was going to give my coworker one because my coworker, she uses pencils too. And I wanted her to have this nice German pencil sharpener before she retired. And what they ended up doing was accidentally sending me this. These are oil paints. These are very expensive. And they sent me 3 of them. This is a box of 3. I'm probably never going to use this here, but I've got it. It's made in Italy, and it's been color matched for the color of 248. Rosa di Marte. That is the color. You know, you're not going to see me do stuff like that too often with the Rosa. And then there is gouache. I am not a fan of gouache paint. I don't like gouache paint because the few times where I had to paint stuff, this is what they had me paint with. So this is Winsor and Newton color chart. Let's see what they got in here. Oh, they got a color chart. Something an artist needs to know. Color charts. Color charts are actually awesome. It just tells you, or oops, upside down. It shows you the colors that you could purchase if you wanted to. But usually in a kit like this, they're going to give you the basics. So you're going to have your yellow. You're going to have your red, roja. You're going to have your blue. You're going to have your green, your black, and your white. Believe it or not, with these colors, you could mix them and make a ginormous amount of other colors. I probably should tell you about CMYK. CMYK simply means YK. So, just to let you know, I won't get into color and color theories right now, but there is one thing that you need to know. There is a color process that is used to create the gamut of all other colors when it comes to printing. That is CMYK process. CMYK simply means cyan, which is blue, M, which is magenta. You call it red, but they usually refer to it as magenta. Y, which is yellow, and then K, which is black. These colors can be mixed on a printer, inside of the printer, to make any other colors. If you look into your parents' printer, open it up, you may see CMYK. You may see black by itself, and then the other colors mixed in. Some machines will have an extra 5th color, but truthfully, this is all you need to make any color in the color spectrum. The visual color spectrum that we as humans can actually see. That's a useful thing to know. Also, if you want to, give gouache a chance. I gave it a chance. I was not the best fan of it, but when you need to get some, if you want to experiment with color and mess around with some color theory, you will be using gouache because it is the easiest to mix. It's very opaque. Opaque means flat and not see-through. So using something that is opaque it's going to be extremely easy to mix those colors, and you'll be able to see how colors react when you add in new colors. Like the old saying for Ziploc bags, yellow blue makes green. So if you look at those Ziploc bags that you have at the house, you may actually see that. I am holding right now a bamboo brush with a camel hair tip. The brush hair is actually camel hair. This is probably one of the coolest brushes that I own. I haven't used this in a very long time. I probably will not be using it for a while because I don't paint that often, but these are just things that are available. I'm not saying go out and buy a bamboo camel hair brush, but I am going to say you can buy a cheap set of brushes, or you may actually have some of this stuff at home. Experiment with it. You can't break paper. You can rip it apart like I just did. But right now, I'm just throwing stuff at you. What did we learn today? Today we learned tracing paper. Tracing paper is awesome. You can use tracing paper to redraw stuff you already drew. You can use tracing paper to turn around and draw somebody else's stuff. We'll talk about copyrights and everything else later on, but sometimes getting the feel of how they may have drawn it could give you the feel of how to draw something. We also talked about spiral notebooks. This is not the best spiral notebook that I own right here, but it is a spiral notebook that has a lot of good stuff on the inside. The paper is usually thick with this stuff, and you will have the ability to literally draw whatever you want, preserve it for a very long time, and once you do preserve it, you will be able to come back to it later on in life and reflect on whatever you drew. Oh, there we go. Edward can see. Here is another one of my drawings. I knew I'd find something nice and simple that looks good in here, instead of something that's complex and looks weird. Probably the last thing I'm going to tell you right now is don't forget your assignment. 50 drawings of a bird that is about the size of the palm of your hand. That's what I want you to do. So until next time, I want you to, have fun. Try to get outside if you can. Hold on. Before I go, just realize something. I don't make short videos. I still have some drink left. One moment. Why is drawing 50 birds so important? I'm going to give you a different story. When I was young and in high school, the movie Terminator came out. The movie Terminator had a robot. The robot was T-1000, the Terminator. This Terminator changed the minds of a lot of young people who like to draw. We saw for the first time the robot apocalypse that was so cool. They were destroying stuff, and it was just amazing to see the robots. We didn't care about what happened, about all the other stuff. We only cared about that was the coolest robot ever seen. When the skin was gone, it was a Terminator killing machine. It was awesome. As a young person, we were like just enamored by this here. Enamored? Whatever. We were shocked by seeing the Terminator. Myself, some of my friends, the ones that like to draw, because I had like a little circle of friends that draw. One guy was named Marcus. I'm going to refer to him as Marcus A, as an apple. The cool thing that Marcus and I had done was we started to compete against each other. We were both drawing, not the Terminator, because we weren't that skilled. Instead, we were drawing something that he had created, and it was called Iron Ninjas. Iron Ninjas were these robots that were going to take over the planet, just like in Terminator, but because we didn't have the drawing skills, our robots were very basic. And we would have this little competition where I would draw an Iron Ninja, and then he would draw one. He would show me how his Iron Ninja was better. So the next week, because we didn't see each other all the time, I think we saw each other in the library or whatever, the library period. And we would only get a chance to meet a couple of times. And when we did, we would have this little competition. I drew my thing, he drew his thing. The cool thing about that is, as we competed and kept drawing, our drawings evolved into something very, very different. I knew at some point, near the end of our little drawing competition relationship thing, I knew markers controlled the ground. And in the very last few drawings that I had created, when we finally said, okay, that's it, that's enough. When we finally gave up the battle, I had started to draw robots that didn't look like stick figures with a little boxy body. My drawing started to incorporate muscles, movement. They weren't thin cylinders or pipes anymore. They were muscular. And at the same time, I had done something that was totally different from him. Maybe I saw some mermaid stuff. I don't know what happened, but I said, this is my new Iron Ninja. I now have possession of the ocean. And it was a mermaid-like robot that had a tail like a mermaid, but the upper body like a human. And that's all they resided over. They took over all of the water, which is genius on my part, because I don't know if you know this, but on this planet where we live right now, this planet is 75% water. Most of this planet is water. 25% of this planet is land. So when I took possession of the oceans, the water, guess what? I took the planet, because the planet is 75% water. Basically, the world is mine. I was very proud of that moment there. The reason for giving you this story, and I'm showing you drawings, I'm probably showing you a drawing and everything right now. The reason why this is important is because it shows that my drawings had evolved from something that was very simple and basic and turned into something that was very different, completely outside of the box thinking, and just totally different from where it originally started. After 50 drawings, you may experience something similar to that. Not exactly like that, but you may pick up something. And again, it's all about practice, practice, practice. If you say that to your dad, he's going to laugh if you ever say the word practice, practice, practice. He may actually laugh if you said that. It means something to people who love sports. We're talking about practice? BraX, that's the end of this video. We're probably already gone too long. I don't know if my machine is still recording or not, but that's all I got to say. We're down to about that much of drink. I'm satisfied with where everything is going right now. I've got to edit this video and put it up there. Love you, cuz. Have fun. And like I said, at the end of this here, you don't have to draw anymore. But I will be showing you places and things you can do with your art, no matter what you do in life. Because I use art all the time for little things. Enjoy. Or as I normally say, that's the end of this video.